So you finally came to see me. Everyone falls for me in time.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me in this awesome Resident Evil Village interview. Our special guest today is none other than Daniela Dimitrescu of Resident Evil Village. Please welcome Nicole Tompkins. Hi Nicole, how have you been?
I'm so wonderful. How are you, Crystal?
I've been great. I actually been anticipating this interview.
Oh good, I'm so glad. Well, it's so lovely to be here.
Before we begin talking about Resident Evil Village, of course, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and your journey as a motion capture actor?
Yeah, sure. I've been in Los Angeles for about 10 years now, and I'm originally from Texas, and I did some acting there as well. And I actually came to LA mostly focused on film and TV, and I still do a lot of theatrical film and TV work. And I basically fell into voiceover because I sing. I had some experience in the studio, and I had a couple people be like, "You're good at this." And I was like, "Really?" I didn't even realize that acting in video games was an option. And I started to audition for some video games and was very, very lucky to book a Lord of the Rings game for WB Games called Shadow of War. And that was my first motion capture experience, and it threw me right into the thick of it with some of the best mocap artists of our day and era, Troy Baker and Travis Willingham and Laura Bailey and Ike Amati, and just all of these amazing people who like showed me what motion capture could be, and I really took to it, and I just absolutely loved it. And so I was very much like, okay, any chance to do more of that is a yes from me. And so the Resident Evil series is kind of what followed next, is my next kind of bigger project. And then just everyone has been so incredibly welcoming in the RE universe. The fans are unbelievable. So yeah, that's a little bit of my journey. I'm an actor at heart and a storyteller and an artist, and video games have become such a really fun way and such an avenue and unique medium that people really value for such different reasons, and I love that.
Can you elaborate as to how exactly you got to be part of the Resident Evil universe, beginning with the remake of Resident Evil 3?
So I basically got an audition with a code name and a code project, and there was a piece of character art, and there was a little context for who she was, and I was like, this is Jill Valentine. Does anyone else? This is Jill, right? This is Jill. It has to be. This has to be Jill. It looks like Jill. It's Jill. And so I just kind of went in there with the same sort of energy of just looking at the material that they had given us, which was all there. What they wanted was there, and bringing to life just the badass super cop that she is.
Right, let's do this.
So it was a standard audition process, and then when I went in for callbacks, I really hit it off with the producing team, Capcom, and our director, Steve Knievel.
So judging by your reaction with Jill Valentine, you were familiarized with series before?
I mean, I feel people ask me this question all the time, like, did you know Resident Evil? And I'm like, I feel like Resident Evil is a household name, whether or not you've played the games or seen movies or it's such a well-known franchise, and especially in video game world, because it just has some of the most iconic characters ever made, and there's such a long history of this franchise. So I was familiar with it, and I hadn't played through an entire Resident Evil game. I had seen other people play. I knew generally the plot lines and the story, so I just recognized it because I was like, well, that's that, and I have lots of friends around me that can always fill me in on things that I've missed, and so you can research online, and that was kind of my journey to being like, Resident Evil, heck yeah, that's exactly what this is, let's go. And they liked what I did, and here I am.
At the very least, people have heard of the Resident Evil movies, which of course Jill Valentine was portrayed by Serena Guillory, I believe.
Yes, exactly.
You work with other actors on what is essentially a stage or a set, set, if you will. Right, yeah, thank you. Can you describe the type of acting that goes on and those types of stage sets, and specifically with Resident Evil?
It's super interesting because motion capture is this really beautiful blend of kind of like film and theater, in that you end up doing full takes of scenes, whereas film, you end up splitting things up a lot when you're filming for different shots. In motion capture, like, the camera can be anywhere. They can put the camera at any angle, and choose what their shots are going to look like. So you'll end up doing longer, bigger takes with all of the blocking figured out, and then they'll pick their cuts later, which I think is really, really unique. So you know, it's like any other kind of form of storytelling, except we're in wetsuits with face cam helmets and markers all over and dots all over our face and talking about really serious things, and looking absolutely ridiculous.
Listen, what the fuck? Sorry, Ethan.
Like those green screen men.
Yeah, precisely. So the motion capture all happens usually at the same time, especially for something like RE Village, where we're doing one takes and another actor is actually the camera, because it's a first person perspective, which is really, really unique. And then we come back and we'll do ADR and voice lines. If there's anything we need to pick up from the stage, we do that at that time, or mostly what we're doing is the in-game lines that the player would hear when it's not a cutscene, but you're actually fighting people, or you have control, or you're interacting with people along the way.
How was the camaraderie between you, Maggie Robinson, Becca Purwitt, and Jeanette Moss?
We had so much fun. I mean, it kind of was like a little family, you know? We had a family of siblings together, and that was really special.
The Dimitrescu family.
Yeah, the Dimitrescu family.
Dimitrescu
household. And we, gosh, I mean, it's just hard not to have a lot of fun. And I think it's reflected in the game. You can tell we all really cared about each other, and we really enjoyed our time. And of course, Jeanette has since passed away, so it's a really beautiful way to kind of always have a small piece of her. And that's really special.
I'm sure you treasure the memories that you had during the experiences, not only in Resident Evil 3, but also in Resident Evil Village.
Absolutely.
What do you think about the fandom's obsession with the Dimitrescu family, by the way?
I love it. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything better. The amount of fan art, creativity, just general, like, love, appreciation, fill in the blank. It's been so much fun. Maggie Robertson, who plays Alcina, aka Lady D, we started just texting each other, just being like, oh my gosh, did you see this? Did you see that? And we like sent each other fan art and stuff like that was already coming out. We were like, people are stoked. And that's so exciting, because I mean, you know, you trust that people will be excited, but like, you never know what it is that people are gonna really like latch onto and appreciate a lot. And apparently Capcom did, because they knew that she was gonna take off and used her a ton in the marketing and whatever else. So it's just really fun to kind of watch it all happen.
Capcom knows their fans.
They know their stuff. They know their stuff.
Now, I know you mentioned earlier that you've played the Resident Evil video games, although you haven't played it throughout, but have you played any of the classic Resident Evil video games?
Before RE3, I hadn't played them, but now I played RE3 Remake. I've played the RE1 Remake from 2002. I've played RE2 Remake. I've played RE7, and now I am playing Village. And I played all of these games live on Twitch, so people can just watch my evolution as I got better at playing Resident Evil games. And I brought on a bunch of the actors and colleagues and people that were involved in the games, which is one of my favorite things to do, is highlight some of the talented performers behind people's favorite characters.
What's up with the eating Oreos and smashed potatoes? That's an odd combination.
Potatoes became a thing. I don't even remember the mashed potatoes, but that sounds like me. Yeah, Nick Apostolidis is a huge Oreo fan, and so
my god, Nick.
Because I brought Nick on to play RE2, and he always has Oreos, and he would eat them every time I died, and I was dying a lot at this point. And so Oreos became a ongoing theme.
Can you share a funny or memorable moment you had on set while doing any of the Resident Evil games?
Yes, there are so many. So many. Gosh. Well, all right. So this isn't like directly me, but I just was there. I really appreciated the mocap hats that were involved on the mocap stage, because characters like Heisenberg and Lady D both had like just they were just like references, I think, like to like show them how they should move and that sort of stuff. But they're very stylish mocap hats. And as Daniela, the Witch Sisters, we were also in heels, which was really amusing. I've never done motion capture in heels before, but they have mocap heels with markers all over them. Truly a fashion statement. Highly recommend. And that was definitely very fun, because heels change the way that you move, and so they want to capture that as naturally as possible.
Wow, they really wanted an accurate movement, really accurate movement there.
Oh, absolutely.
Now that the game has been released and all that hard work is put into action, what are your thoughts on the final product?
I am loving it so far. I mean, I'm sure I'm biased, but I think it's really beautiful, and so far it's really fun. It's such a mood, and I'm so proud of everyone's performances, and I just know how much hard work went into making this game across just like so many different departments and so many different people. I always say this, like, it actually takes a village, an army, to make these games come to life and look the way that they do. So I'm very proud of it.
So far, what has been your experience with the Resident Evil fandom?
Nothing but positive. I have had such a warm welcome from Resident Evil fans. Resident Evil 3 came out right before a lot of the world shut down due to the coronavirus. And so I was able to connect digitally on social media and on Twitch with a bunch of Resident Evil fans who were just really kind to like reach out and send so much positive love my way. So it's been amazing. Like, it's such a great fan base, and there are so many creative, fantastic artists and people within it. So I've made a lot of friends, and I've really enjoyed kind of cultivating that community. I have like a Discord now, and you know, all of these people are there just supporting each other and being excited and sort of nerding out together. I was so amazed that the game like wasn't delayed, that it came out, that it looks amazing. Like, I was so highly impressed that they really made it happen. And that's just shows you how much hard work people really put into making it happen.
Yeah, I know. I was surprised. I thought they were going to delay the game because a lot of things got delayed, from Hollywood movies to other video games, just because of the pandemic.
I think it's just was a lot of commitment and a lot of really, really smart maneuvering, and they made it work and made it happen and got it out.
Speaking of Hollywood movies, there's a Hollywood reboot of the Resident Evil franchise film universe. Would you audition for the role of Jill?
I would, of course, love to be involved theatrically in any sort of Resident Evil universe thing. I would love that. Super, super fun. My answer would be absolutely yes.
So before we end this interview, can you provide us with the voice of Daniela Dimitrescu?
Absolutely.
So you finally came to see me. Everyone falls for me in time. I get thirsty. Understand? Bad boy. You can't go anywhere. That's our darling Daniela.
Daniela is the craziest of all three.
She might be a little bit kooky. I don't know what you're talking about.
For those watching us right now who want to become either voice actors or motion capture actors, what tips or advice can you give them?
I always recommend, like, get in acting classes. Make sure you're working on your craft, because it really is a craft. And take any opportunity that you can to act, to be telling stories, to actively work on a mic or something like that. Create your own content, you know, just get active, because that always brings in new ideas and new opportunities. Be open to being surprised, and make sure you really love it, because like anything, it's an art form, and you will get so many no's, but you'll also get some yeses, and those yeses make it so worth it.
Before we end the interview, are there any parting words you would like to say to your fans?
Yeah, I mean, I just always have to reiterate just the biggest thank you. These games wouldn't come to life without the fan base, legitimately. You know, they get made for the people that want to play and enjoy them and be excited. So it really is the fans that allow us to be here and to participate and to make something that's so fun and exciting and meaningful to so many people. So really just a giant thank you. And, you know, as always, if you want stars, I'll give you stars.
Thank you so much, Nicole. It's been a pleasure to have you here at the Kitsune Network.
Thank you, Crystal. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for joining me, you guys. I love you very much, and I'll see you guys next time.